It's nice and bright, and the people are so friendly and giving and happy, and genuinely seem happy to see you and see other people, see the residents, etc. So I just find it to be more of like a community type of feeling rather than an old folks home.
Hi, I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Comfort Life. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading retirement communities and care providers to uncover insights to community lifestyle, care, culture, and leadership. This includes insights from residents, family members, and administration. This is the Comfort Life Insider Perspective.
Oh, there's so many things that they do so well. I think, though, the primary thing for me with Arbourside is the staff. I find the staff to be absolutely phenomenal. They all seem to go above and beyond what one might expect to be happening. They have great patience with my mom. She's 101, so at times she can get confused a little bit at times. And so it doesn't matter how many times, she'll phone the front desk, and she'll phone even with Tanya Miller, the general manager. My mom will phone her in the morning and say, "Hi, it's just me. I just wanted to let you know I'm still alive." And they're fabulous. They just laugh and they're, "Oh, good, Alice, we love you." So I think it's, mostly the staff. It's just the way they care for everybody that's there. It feels more like they're a big family than that they're staff. So I appreciate that immensely. It's fantastic. As a matter of fact, it's so fantastic that they've just started up their happy hour again. And prior to COVID, I didn't manage it every week, but I tried. Most Fridays I would go over and I'd have happy hour. Bring my mom down, and we'd sit and we'd have our wine and a chit chat with all the other residents. They have different games that they play, and they do bingo, and they have little outings, and there's always something to do. And it's really a great community and great camaraderie, and the social aspect of it is fantastic, just fantastic. Yeah, it's not a huge building, it's not one of those gigantic senior places. I think it's a lovely size. It's really, really pretty. It's very clean. It's always kept up. You never go, "Oh, that doesn't look good," or, "Oh, that smells bad." It's always very clean, very tidy, never cluttered. It's very open. It's very modern, up to date. As far as the decor and the colors, they always have plants and flowers around on the first floor. They have an amenities bar that is open during the day, where they put out coffee and tea and juices and cookies and muffins and things like that. They have a little courtyard area out front that is just beautiful, where there's a little barbecue, beautiful flowers and benches. And the barbecue is actually something where family members can even come in, and you can go out there and barbecue and have that time together. So it's really lovely the way it's laid out, and it's also nice and clean. They have in-house laundry, so residents can either do their own laundry or they can have it done for them. They have weekly housekeeping, which I also really appreciate that too, so I don't have to clean my house and my mom's place. They come in once a week and they strip out her bed and do all her linens and remake her bed. They take all of her linens from her kitchen and her bathroom. They clean the entire place. It's lovely. She has a 1-bedroom. So she's got a full kitchen, full-size fridge, dishwasher, full-size stove, and she's got a little area, a little closet for storage. We use it for storage, but it's actually rigged up to accommodate washers and dryers if one wanted to have a washer and dryer in suite. She's got a full bathroom with a tub and shower. And we did have Arbourside cut part of the side of the tub out so that she can safely step in and out, which I think that is a huge feature. You know, my mom is doing so great that I'm sure she probably, with the grab bars that they have, she probably could get in and out of the tub on her own, but I don't want to try it to find out. And so with this cutout in the side of the tub, you know, she can get in and out of there quite readily. She's got a large living area with a little dining room area. We've got a little dining room table and chairs and shelves for her. So she's got all of her little bits of knickknacks and stuff on there. She's got a lovely large size room with a big window. Then she's got a door that goes out onto the balcony. She has a large bedroom that accommodated all of her bedroom furniture, which was lovely. She didn't have to lose any of that sort of stuff, with big closets in there, lots of closet and storage space, which again is very important because, you know, most of these people are coming, I would presume most everyone is probably coming from their homes where they've been living forever and they have lots of stuff. So there's always storage there. It's lovely. I think the biggest value for me is that prior to moving Mom to Arbourside, which was 4 years ago, she was living on her own in a townhouse, and she had a horrendous accident 9 years ago. And so I was having to increasingly spend more and more and more time with her. Not that I mind spending time with my mother, but it was more, I was getting to the point I was practically living with her, and it was really getting difficult to manage my, manage my household and manage my life. But I really didn't feel comfortable leaving her all the time by herself because she's getting lonely was her biggest thing. And so when I went and looked at Arbourside, and it was such a lovely layout, and it was nice and bright, and it was clean, no funny smells anywhere, flowers around, the staff were all smiling and very welcoming. And so the value for me and for my mom has been this sense of community, sense of security. Mom knowing that she's not alone, that she can go downstairs at any time and there's always somebody there. And then that is the same for me as well, that if when I'm working or I'm away, I don't have to worry about her because I know her meals are being taken care of, her cleaning is being taken care of. And most importantly for me is that she has that social interaction, that there's always somebody there for her. I find, I think I had stated earlier that to me, I get more of a feeling of community. I get more of a feeling of family atmosphere, that you don't go in there, and I never go in there and feel like I am in a care facility. Yeah, it doesn't feel like that at all. It's nice and bright, and the people are so friendly and giving and happy, and you know, genuinely seem happy to see you and see other people, you know, see the residents, etc. So I just find it to be more of like a community type of feeling rather than an old folks home. It is honestly like night and day. Mom had, as I had stated earlier, she'd had a horrendous fall 9 years ago now, and she came back from it relatively well well, remarkably well. She actually wasn't supposed to survive. And so we got her back from that, but then she started into a real depressive nosedive. And I think that was primarily because she didn't have the interaction with other people. And so we were having a real struggle with her to do anything, really. I couldn't get her to go out to do anything. I was having trouble getting her to eat, having trouble getting her to even drink anything. And so she was really starting to decline physically, also mentally, but not as much with the mental decline other than depression, but not into dementia, but more of a depression. But physically, she was really going downhill. And so I got her into Arbourside. And of course, when I moved her in there, she initially said, well, I'm not staying here. And I said, oh, but you are. Wanted to go home. And I think that's very common also. But it didn't take her any time at all. And she settled in very nicely and made all sorts of new friends, and even had a boyfriend who was 12 years younger than she. And but she very quickly acclimated, and we had her weight up by 30 pounds in under 6 months, which was fabulous to see because she'd gotten far too thin. So we got the weight back up, which getting all of that back up then helped balance out her electrolytes and her blood sugars, and everything was just better that way. Oh, I've neglected to say one of the other amenities that they have, or two other amenities that they have actually in-house, is they have a hairdresser, and they have a lovely gal that does manicures and pedicures. So mom gets her hair done weekly, and she gets a manicure and a pedicure weekly. So that was all fabulous too. I would say to really sit with your loved one and make sure that you have their little or big list of things that are non-negotiable, things that they must have. Whether this is things that they feel that they must have, or it's the caretaker that are things that must have, such as for me, I had to have that cutout in the tub for safety. So you want to make sure that things like that are in place. The grab bars for toilets and tubs and showers are in place. You want to make sure of what amenities that there are that are important for your loved one. So if you have someone who typically is social, then you want to make sure that they have social activities going on that they can attend easily on their own. You want to really check out the food, because some of these places, the food could not be the greatest. So you want to check out the dietary needs in the foods, and whether they have and adhere to or can adhere to specific dietary needs. If you have somebody who's diabetic, for instance, you want to make sure that they're not being served a whole bunch of sugary whatevers. Or somebody who has an allergy or sensitivity to gluten and that type of thing. You want to make sure that the diet that is provided, the food that's provided, is going to work for your loved one. I would suggest to, and I do frequently, I would suggest to anyone that is considering transitioning their parents into a retirement spot such as Arbourside, I personally would say, don't even bother looking anywhere else. Go to Arbourside. You cannot be disappointed by going to Arbourside, because it's always so clean and fresh and bright in its physical appearance. And then there's always these wonderful staff members around, even the cleaning staff that, you pass in the hallway. They're, oh, hi, April, how are you today? How's your mom, Alice? It's a wonderful, wonderful place. It's welcoming, it's friendly, it's safe. So I would I have and I do recommend people go and check out Arbourside. You will not be disappointed. Dramatically. Where I was having to go weekly, or not weekly, excuse me, daily, to make her meals, to try to make sure that she was eating and doing everything for her. And then with her moving into Arbourside, I could take a deep breath of release and step back, that I didn't have to be so worried about her. I can sleep at night because I'm not afraid that I'm going to get a phone call in the middle of the night because she's scared, which was happening when she was by herself in the townhouse. I can actually know better now of what food I have in my cupboard and in my fridge than in my mother's, because I had actually gotten to the point where I would get confused because I was at her place so often making dinners. When I would go grocery shopping, I'd be picking up stuff and I'd bring it home and then realize, oh, I already have that here. This is for mom's place, or vice versa. So it's helped me immensely in that my stress level has gone down dramatically. My ease and comfort levels have gone up dramatically. I feel very, very comfortable having my mom there. I know that she's very well taken care of, that there's people around that just love her and treat her like family. So it's helped my emotional status also. Well, the primary thing for me, the two primary things for me, it was that it was close to me, which I know that won't be the case for everyone. But the primary for me, that it doesn't have that old home place look or smell or any of that. It's lovely and clean and bright, and that was important to me. I didn't want mom, going in somewhere that smelled and looked like an old people's home. So that was my primary. I have to just go back to, again, of the fact that it was so welcoming from the first moment that we got there. And by we got there, I'm meaning myself and my brother and my mom. And we went in and we were invited to come in and have a free lunch with the manager. And that really sold us. We went and we had the walk about the whole place. We went and saw a couple of different units. And then we went down and had a lovely lunch. And mom seemed really excited about it. I thought it was really cute when we first arrived, and you come in, when you're in the car, you come in through the underground parking. But just before we got there, mom says, well, they probably wouldn't let me move in anyway. And I said, why is that? And she said, well, I mean, I have a walker. And then you look over and you see the sea of parked, I call them go-karts. They're motorized. And those were lined up all the way around in the parking lot. And I said, see those? I don't think your walker's going to be an issue. So, oh, okay, good. So yeah, it's just welcoming. The cleanliness, the openness of design, the brightness. It's all of the rooms, all of the suites, as well as the common areas, are all very, very bright and open and decorated lovely. So you never feel like you're in a dark, dingy anything. It's always beautiful and bright and open, which is important, I think, also to have that natural light that really helps boost people's emotions. It was a very smooth move, but you definitely want to start that ahead of time. In our case, mom had been in her townhouse for, I think, about 20, 25 years. And so we started quite some time before of packing everything up and arranging for people to come that wanted things that we were donating. We donated a lot of things to charity and sold a lot of other things, but we put that all in place ahead of time. So when it came to the actual moving day, what we did, my brother and I, was we made sure that we had Mom's rooms all set up, her pictures all hung up on the walls, all of her incidental knickknacks and things up and around for her, so that when she walked through the door into her new suite, there were things set up there that were familiar for her. So she felt far more comfortable because it was all her own stuff, and she knew that it was all her own things, her own sofa and her own TV and pictures of, my dad around, that sort of thing. And so that made the move much easier physically, because we did it in stages, but for her emotionally and mentally, having it set up and just be able to walk her in the door and sit her down, as opposed to bringing her in and then trying to jostle around her with boxes or what have you. We had it all set up so she could just walk in, sit down, and have her glass of wine. Arbourside made sure the manager, assistant manager, the head of housekeeping, the dining room staff, the front desk staff, all made sure that they got to know my mom right away. They introduced themselves to her. They made sure that they had her name correct. They spoke to her in a very welcoming manner, as if she had been there forever. They repeatedly told her how, they were so happy to have her join the Arbourside community and family. She is thriving. Yep, she is thriving. She's pushing 102. And she's only just started into a little bit of repeating herself in probably the last 6 months or so. So she's done really, really well. And I actually even think that the primary issue with that bit of starting in down the dementia road would be due to, unfortunately, COVID, because of the lockdown, which Arbourside were stellar during that. I was so thrilled with the way that they conducted everything. It was such a load off of me to know that my mom was safe. And literally, I had been told that by Tanya, the manager. She literally said to me, "You don't need to worry about your mom. We've got her. We're going to take care of her. We're going to make sure she's safe." And it was just amazing. But I think that's the only reason that we had some mental decline, was because of the lockdown. It was so hard. It was so hard on everyone, but it was so hard on seniors to not be able to go downstairs and socialize. I would have made the decision to move my mom years before. Hands down, bar none. Don't even have to think about the answer to that one. I really dragged my feet because my mom and dad had bought a townhouse only 2 blocks away from me. And my mom and dad both absolutely loved where they lived at Chelsea Gardens. And then my dad passed away. It's 14 years now. But my mom really didn't want to go anywhere. She used to tell me that she was not leaving, that the only way she was ever going to leave there was going to be feet first in a box, because she felt that that's where dad was. That's where, she was happy with the dad, had been so happy there. And so she didn't feel like she could leave dad. And it was really a struggle, because she's a very strong Newfie from Newfoundland. And she dug her heels in and she thought, "I'm not going anywhere. It's not happening." And so I dragged my heels because, I love my mother. So I wanted to try to make her as happy and comfortable as I could. But when it got to the point where I couldn't keep her happy, that she was really starting to decline, which I knew it wasn't dementia, it was decline in her zest for life was just disappearing. But also, I think very importantly with that was that my zest for life was being tamped down also. It got to be far too much for me. So I finally had a little bit of a breakdown one day, and I thought, this is it. I can't do this anymore. I have to find somewhere for her to go. So we found Arbourside, and it is so fabulous. It has been so fabulous. The weight off of me, knowing that my mother is so well cared for, even though it's not a care facility, but she is so well cared for. And she's so happy being there. That's the only thing I could say, is that I wish that I had done it at least 2 years earlier than I did. So I suggest because I'm in that age group now where most of my, well, not most, yeah, most of my friends, their parents, because I'm in my 60s, so their parents are in their 80s and in their 90s, and they're going through the same thing. And I'm talking with them and they're saying, yeah, but dad's saying he's not moving. Mom's saying he's not moving. I don't know what to do. And just do it. You just have to do it. You won't believe the change in your parent, in your loved one, once you finally get them moved into somewhere like Arbourside. And then the relief and the stress that is taken off of the loved one who's being the caregiver.
For more information about this community, you can visit their profile at comfortlife.ca.